Hello, welcome to my video. The top of my head is cut off, but I don't care because this isn't the focus today. Today, the focus are buttons. You can't tell. There's a lot of buttons. In fact, all of these are buttons. These are empty, but like every jar except for the two empties it's all full of buttons. This is going away because I'm gonna need some coffee. So the goal today is to sort these buttons to make my life a little easier. Now this big block is already been sorted, and that's because last year my grandma gave me like a huge collection of buttons, which was awesome. Thank you, Grandma. And I took a few days and I sorted them into this, which she also gave me. And she had kind of sorted it, you can tell with the labels, but, or one of the other grandmas. There was a lot of grandmas involved with this collection. But then recently she gave me more. 2 jars in a bag, and I feel like there are more, so there is a decent chance that I'm gonna get started and then find another jar or two, and I'm making my peace. So a big mistake I made with this that I'm going to also be correcting today is when I did this and I organized it, like let me show you, like they're divided into baggies of like similar buttons and then in drawers and all sorts of things. So the issue here is I left no room to grow because I really naively was like, this is all the buttons that I'm like ever gonna need. That was not true. And let's be real, I don't need these buttons, but since I have such a wonderful boon, I'm going to use them. And I have ideas. Actually, this little jar, this is buttons that I just harvested from a previous idea. I made a shirt with buttons, and I put my favorite buttons on it. But the problem was that since they weren't all the same type, it didn't hang evenly. It didn't have the right like weight distribution. And it just didn't look the way I wanted it to. I wanted different aesthetic than I think it ended up turning into. So I do have another idea. I'm gonna do a button shirt still, but I'm definitely pivoting with it and doing something that I think at the end of the day is like more my style and also more fun to do, because just attaching buttons, it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't feel very creative doing it. Like it didn't scratch that itch. So yeah, and like this isn't creative. This is not a creative task that I'm doing right now. This is organizing. But sorry, I'm so but I want to do it, and I also kind of feel like if it's on camera, then my grandma can watch and she can know in her heart these aren't going to waste. I'm not saying thanks, Grandma. I am intending to use them, and to be able to use them, I need to make this a little bit easier, because right now, I mean, I got pearl buttons in here and here and here and here and there. So if I need 6 matching pearl buttons, I potentially will have to go look 6 different places. That's not a life I want to live. Also, looking at this right now, I do notice a big problem that we might have to fix. I think that I should have brought bowls. Or something to hold all of these. I don't actually think that this is going to be correct for my organizational space. And a big change. When I first organized this, I did it in my room on my other table, which is smaller. I have a lot of tables. I have 2 huge tables, which you'll see eventually. Those are great for laying out fabric. They're great for putting together big projects, or like when I have a lot of pieces to keep track of. Perfect. And then I have a smaller folding table, It is great for painting. It's like the perfect height, and it's already got paint on it for some unrelated reason. So I don't feel guilty painting on it. And I usually keep that out of my way. It's also good for like smaller fabric items. And then this table, which is really for games and for puzzles. But I'm using this table because unlike all those other tables, it's here. It's in the living room. And y'all haven't been to my house. I don't even think my grandma has seen my house recently. But the living room is a no cat space. The cats cannot come in here. They can. They do. But ideally, like, we can lock them out if we need to. And I'm going to need to. Because when I last sorted buttons, I lost several. And then I found them in my cat's little hoard of things they like to steal, which is very cute, but really, it's really such a struggle when you're like, I would like to organize everything. So, also, I don't know if I actually said this. I didn't give myself room to grow. Maybe I did. But either way, I need to factor in room to grow because at this point, I made my peace. I'm going to find some. I'm going to find some months later, or grandma's going to find some, or mom's going to find some, or I'm going to walk into like a store and find some buttons for 3 cents and lose my mind. I'm trying really hard not to do that. I mean, not with buttons specifically, just in general. I'm trying not to be like, oh, it's on sale. I'm trying to be like, are you going to use it? Because I know me. And sometimes I'm just like, ooh, it's such a good price. And then I don't use it. So we're trying to cut that down. But I still am going to be smart and give myself room to grow because we don't know when more buttons are going to appear. Also, you might notice that I have like some random like non-button items. I got some thread, 2 pairs of scissors. You actually can't see. They're babies. They're embroidery scissors. I just don't always use them for embroidery. I don't hear it. But the reason I have that is because I did find it very, very useful to string together like matching sets. And when we go through this, you'll see that. So I am actually going to start with these. And I wish if I was like really cool and like a real YouTuber, I would have a camera so you can just see the buttons. But trust, when I get to the ones where I'm like, yes, we'll have a little button fashion show, okay? I am promising you that I will put aside the buttons that are the coolest and I would love for you guys to look at with, I don't know, might spark joy for you, or it might fill you with a deep, unbearable sense of envy. It's okay. You can be envious of my buttons. I personally wouldn't blame you because there's some really cool ones. Oh my God. This thing is so old. I feel like it's, I don't know, like it's giving 70 vibes. That's probably not right. But like the color makes me think 70s. You can't really tell. It is much oranger in real life. It is more of like, it looks smoke stained, but it's not. You could tell if it were, but it's not, but it almost looks like it. I don't even know if you can even hear me because I don't have a microphone. I'm just loud. All right. So also something I'm noticing, I kept not, okay, I'm just going to put this on the floor. Otherwise I'm just going to gesture with it and then I'll probably throw it by accident. And that would be funny, but we don't need it in our lives. Okay, so I've got non-button items in here. So they got to get out. That's not going to help our cause. They have to leave. And that's mostly buckles because, oh, I've got a great buckle haul and I am working on too many things, frankly. I like how, I think I said this in my first video. I was like, every week I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This was a lie. I feel like maybe I should have known as it came out of my mouth that it would be a lie because A, I'm chronically ill. Who do I think I am? Ooh, every week I'm going to do something. No, there's weeks where you're just going to be laying in bed. That's not, don't get ambitious. Be humble. And be, there's just too many, there's too many different things that I do. I just wander away and do my own stuff. So these are all buckles, and a couple of these I think are like purse clips. Some of these are for belts. I really do, this is the most belty belt buckle I've ever seen, probably. I do have a couple of ideas for these. Like, they're not just like hanging out for no reason. We've lost our other half. I'll find our other half. But these, I genuinely have several different like ideas for belts for people that I'm working on slowly. This one I really like. It's so 80s. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right. All right, so that's one drawer down. I'm gonna put it over here. And I think, for the most part, these do seem to be pretty organized. So I'm going to stick with it. These are actually, this little thing, it's not buttons either. They are, some of them are beads. Some of them are like tassels almost. One of them, it's just like it's like, I don't know why I jumped. It's not, very few of these are like breakable, but it's slides. I don't know if you can tell. I'm too lazy to get up and move it because this one's not, it's interesting, but it's not like cool. So these are all buttons. Those are metal buttons. I knew they were here somewhere. Okay, so these are curtain weights. I don't know if you can tell. They're just chunks of stone in different shapes with holes drilled through it. I actually really like them. I like the weight. I like the way they look. One of these I think might literally be lead, so I'll try not to touch that a lot. But I do like them. I think they're cool. They're not useful. Not for me. I'm sure they're very useful if you make curtains. I do not. I know it's like the easiest thing in the world to make. I just don't care. I've never had a moment where like, ooh, this would be a cool curtain. Never thought about it. Never cared. If I desperately want a curtain for some reason, I just buy it. I know. That's so lazy of me. It's fine. We got to pick and choose our priorities here, and my priorities are literally never curtains. Okay, so these are the kind of buttons that cabochons? I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, you put a little piece of fabric over them so that it blends perfectly into your thing. It's like a very popular style choice. Some of these over here, they're the same. They are covered in fabric. This, he didn't want to be, he wasn't ready. It's not camera, he's camera ready. Okay, I'm gonna have to find that. It rolled away. And I'm actually going to put these to the side. The little plastic divider, this stopped dividing. It just couldn't handle it anymore. Couldn't take the pressure. I'm putting these over here too because they're pretty, they're cool, they're not buttons. They're all beads. A couple of them are pins, like hat pins. A couple of them I think actually are buttons, but they're in the wrong spot. So I'm going to put them over here. I hear my dog yelling, but at the same time I'm like, ooh, do I want him to come inside and yell at me? Not really. I might have to. Okay, so I'm going to put those in there because they're small and they will roll. Alright, so for the most part, we got some kind of organization and happening here. White ish buttons are going over here. The colors themselves are divided out, kind of. We got a bunch of metal buttons, some wood. Those are beads. Those are beads. Wait a second. And those are rhinestones. Okay, okay. We're making baby steps. I don't know why I did that. And those are also beads. Okay, I'm gonna go let my loud, angry son in so that he'll stop yelling. Come on. You have to come on. Come on, Bubba. Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it, Bandit. Come on. Woo! Yes, I'm very proud of you. Hi. Okay, sorry. This is Bandit. Everybody cheer for Bandit. He made it up on the couch. It's very hard. Very scary. Are you gonna help me? He will not. He will not. This process. Well, we didn't even start it. It's gonna get worse. Yeah, he's gotta sniff it all. In his defense, it came from a different house, and it hasn't been near Bandit this whole time because it was in my room, which is one of the rooms he can't go in basically ever. Not out of like, oh, I need to keep him away, but out of like just his inability to handle a ton of stairs. This is neat. This appears to be a shirt front, and the buttons are little like pearl flowers. Okay, so I'm gonna harvest those. Is it weird that I refer to stealing buttons off of something as harvesting them? Should I stop doing that? I won't. I will not. I enjoy it. It makes me feel like I'm picking berries. The button harvest is rich this year. Bountiful, some would say. Okay, I am gonna do piles. I'm not gonna take anything off the card yet. And theoretically, we can just zoom past all of this. Oh, is that like a swatch of extra fabric? Shocking. I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, maybe once in like the 90s, but wait. Stairs. Oh, this is just not enough space. Oh, it's thread. It's thread that matches the shirt that came with. That's cool. That's neat. More extra buttons. I love this. This is cool. I like, it's so weird and unique, I guess. But back in the day, most clothing would come with extra buttons, if I'm correct. I think I'm right. And now that almost never happens because they assume, probably for the most part correctly, that if your clothing loses a button, you're probably just gonna throw it out. I know most of my friends do, which is why most of my friends have been yelled at. Not in a bad way, just more like, dude, sewing a button is like the easiest task. I think it's literally taught to most kids. I'm pretty sure I first learned how to sew. The very first thing I learned how to sew was buttons. These are pearl, mother of pearl, oyster shell. Is that the same thing? I might be wrong. It's fine. But yeah, I first learned how to sew with buttons. That was the very first thing I ever sewed. I think that most people do because everybody needs to know how to sew on a button. It is not hard. It is not hard. It's so easy. I watched the show not that long ago. and which a girl is trying really hard to get this guy to fall in love with her. Because of course, and she's like, they're coming up with all sorts of stupid ways. Not even for him to like fall in love. They're coming up with stupid ways for him to know that she exists as a person. And one of those ways is sneakily, like secretly ripping off a button, and then she shows up with a new button and fixes it for him, right? And it's so funny because when this happens, every girl in like within like a 100-yard radius pops up and it's like, I will sew your button. I have extra buttons. Here's my sewing kit. And it's so funny to me, just because that's like objectively a hilarious attempt to get somebody to notice you, is by stealing a button so that you can sew it back on their cuff sleeve for them. Silly, fun, fits the character quite well. But also wild to me that so many people in the area would not only know how to sew on a button, but have spare buttons and a sewing kit on them at all times during the day of school. I had a sewing kit. This is how I know it's unusual, okay? Back in like 2009, I had a sewing kit and safety pins on me all day long, every day of school. And I know that's unusual because I was like the only person who did. So anytime something, oh, that's neat. I haven't seen that kind of safety pin before. But yeah, anytime somebody like had a rip, because our school was old and the stair railings especially would just snag your clothing. That's actually why I started carrying a sewing kit, so I could fix my clothing quickly in the bathroom before it was just because I was like tired of just like having jeans ripped at my hip where it hit the railing and then getting in trouble for it. Why would I intentionally want my clothing to be ripped in like the most unflattering spot? Whatever. But the point is, people started knowing that they could talk to me about it. Like my friends would be like, can you fix this? And it didn't happen a ton, but it did happen enough that I was like, oh, nobody else does this. That is like one of the ways people knows me. It's that weird kid who has a sewing kit for some reason. I maintain it was a good, solid reason, though. All right, getting close. That's a googly eye. There is a non-zero chance that that came from me. Like, that it ended up in my grandmother's house because of my existence near her house ever. I definitely went through googly eye phase, as everybody does. I think the whole world went through a googly eye phase. This is fun. Who doesn't want some googly eyes in their life? Okay. Bag one down. Because that was pretty boring, I am going to trust you to use your imagination as I sort out these 3 jars. So close your eyes and imagine sorting buttons for like an hour or 2. So, you know, you do that, and I'm going to proceed to actually sort all of these goddamn buttons. What do you think? He agrees. Well, it's been an hour and a half or so. Not as long as I thought it would take, which is good, because I would like to have this cleaned up before like 5. So wish me luck, because it's only like it's noon now, so 5 hours to clean this up. And that sounds minimal, but like it's like cleaning your room for the first time in a long time, and you find a bunch of things that you forgot about and you want to play with. That's what sorting buttons is like for me. I have made an effort. I haven't looked up the history of any of these buttons. I will continue to not do that. Because sometimes you find one and then it just like changes how you view buttons, and then you like are gonna it'll take longer. That's the right way to say it. It'll take longer if I look them all up like I want to. So while sorting, I was thinking about how I want to do it. I have 6 jars. I've got this jar right now. It has beads in it. This one I just dumped out. It had clear buttons in it. These are my smallest jars. This one, it's nice straight side. It has stickiness on the back. I need to fix that, but it's fine. I can do that later. And then I have these 2 mason jars that were full of buttons. So I have to decide what buttons would go in what jars. And I think that the best way to do this is to have like all the white and pearl buttons in one jar. Probably not this one. Probably the bigger one. Are these the same size? No, this one's bigger. I feel like that's obvious, but you question yourself. So anyway, I'm going to put white buttons in here. Theoretically, I'm going to put like your classic, what you think of when you think of a button, flat backed, 2 to 4 holes in there. I say 2 or 4 actually, because I don't think I've ever seen a 3-hole button, frankly. And I'm not going to do the ones where it has like the loop on the back in here, just because I think it'll make more sense to sort those separately. And I also thought about like when I am looking for buttons, I am genuinely wrong G word. I'm generally looking for something that will fit an aesthetic. So I tend to go by color, by type. So what I'm going to do with regards to that is after I sort the white flat buttons into a jar, I'm going to look and see how many loopy buttons I have. You ever hear something and you're like, that sounds like somebody's in trouble? That sounds like somebody's in trouble. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm pretty sure I just heard the sound of a bag being ripped into pieces. Sounds like it's fine. So yeah, after I get the white buttons, white and pearl, they're gonna go together. I'm gonna put them in here. I'm going to try to loop like sets, ones that look exactly the same. Not like if I have like 50 that look exactly the same, they can just go loose. But if I got like 6 that look the same, I will loop them together, because like that's a set. That's when I'm going to be looking for buttons. I will be looking for a set usually, or one. So I think that was way too long of an explanation. Bandit agrees. I'm gonna let him in. See, I knew. I was like, I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna start going, and he's gonna be like, let me in. And you know what? I do need his help, so be right back. He doesn't want to help, but that's okay. We have mystery. So she will be really, really helpful, right? I believe in her. I feel like I'm psyching myself out. Oh, also, while doing it, I saved the tiny little bags. They usually like were attached to clothing, and they would hold 1 or 2 buttons that match the buttons of the clothing, and then like sometimes loops of thread that were used in like to match the clothing, and in one case a tiny square of fabric, which is kind of cool. And I kept the thread because it's cool. Like this one is it's like varied. The colors are varied and it's really pretty. I would love to have seen the fabric. I would assume some kind of like plaid or something. I don't know. It's pretty. But so I kept it because that way when I loop thread, like the buttons together, at least it's like with cool thread and I'll feel kind of cool. All right. I'm just putting it off, aren't I? In my defense, the last time I did this, it took 5 hours. And so I'm a little bit leery. I'm a little bit afraid. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk during this. So I'm going to talk. And if I go silent, I want you to know in your heart it's because the sound of buttons clinking in a glass jar became really annoying. And editing Ren said, mute. So editing Ren would then have had to learn how to mute that. There's a lot of things I got to learn. Okay, we've got some white plastic buttons. I lost my other pair of scissors. I bet they fell beside the couch. I'm actually pretty confident that they fell beside the couch because that is where everything goes today. I am, while I work, I'm going to be taking out like the threads because a lot of these still have threads in the buttonholes, either from packaging or because they were ripped off of like clothing, but it annoys me. And I'm taking it out. I'm going through the extra effort to make myself be slightly less annoyed. Roll the dice as to whether future me would even notice, but now I've guaranteed that future me will not be irritated. I can't imagine a world in which I'm like, man, I wish I kept those tiny chunks of thread. Oh, God. See, this is my problem. I immediately am like, oh, that's interesting. It's a button, okay? This one's kind of dirty. That's it. That's it. I'm not, like, it's not actually interesting. I'm just an easily distracted person. These guys are really big. Make my life hard. It's like the size of like a $50. Pretty large. I kind of love it, but you know what? While I do this, she's done. She's done with me. While I do this, I'm going to put the roundy guys, the guys, you know what I mean, with the loopy loops on the back. Are those called cabochons? I don't know. I'm probably using the wrong word. I'm going to put them in their own jar, and I'm doing that because I just want to clear this up. And also, I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm just going to go. Pearly buttons. See, I got too. I putting it in my jar and the jar in my lap. Putting the jar in my lap was not a great plan. Now I'm kind of curious about what I should do about the ones that are like straight up see-through plastic. Doesn't happen. Oh, I'm saving you for later. The back is like a tutti frutti kind of, you can't see it. I'm gonna try to put it in the fashion show if I don't forget. But if not, it's fine. I need a place for minis. Itty bitties. Little. No, I'm not gonna do that. Should I do that? Do I have enough tiny? I'm gonna do it for now, and like later on I can come back and be like, you did not have enough tiny buttons. But like, some of these are bitty. Okay. Markedly small buttons go in the mini jar. Pink. I don't know why I thought this would be interesting, to be honest. I am putting beads into this jar, at least for right now. Oh my God. Love you. Alright, you know what? Alright, you know what? We're doing it again. My God, these animals. I'm gonna go ahead and do myself a little bit of a. I'm gonna do another time skip. Use your imagination again, because this is gonna take some time, and I'm gonna listen to some music. Oh, okay, that was a lot. I think I started at noon. It is now 3 p.m. I mean, I started before then, but I started the actual sorting process at noon, did it off camera because this was a lot. This is my pile of trash. There's actually some more trash, but so the majority of the trash is that I ripped off the backings of buttons where like one had been used, just to make everything fit better. I took out like all the little baggies, like when there was like a single button and some thread, took out the baggie because like I'm sorting by the buttons, I'm not keeping the thread. Some of the thread had been like rotted through, which was cool. Rephrase. Not like, oh cool, rotted through thread, I can use that. No, cool, like I haven't seen that before. It was like, not, maybe rotting is the wrong word. Like over the years, the thread had unwound itself and become dust in the bag that has clearly been untouched. Oh, hey, mystery. So that was interesting. I've never seen that before. Do not. Oh my God. Okay, all right, she can do it. She can do it. Okay, I'm so happy. I had like a moment of fear. I was like, she's gonna knock off the buttons I just painfully sorted. And when I say painfully, I mean literally my back hurts, my head hurts for some reason. I don't know why. My fingers hurt like a lot. In fact, mostly from using the tiny embroidery scissors to get off the things of thread because I know it's gonna bug me in the future. But I couldn't do it all. Here's my baggie of threaded buttons that need to be freed and then sorted. But I'm gonna do that probably just like when I'm bored or in the car or something. It'll replace my sewing thing that I've been doing. You know, I'll mix it up a little bit. I know you were wondering, how many googly eyes did I find? 4. No 2 are the same size. I did think about putting them on my face, but I don't know how old these are. And like it kind of grosses me out, like the thought of like putting a googly eye from 20 years ago on my skin. And my skin isn't happy. Anyway, but yeah, none of these googly eyes are the same size. They all do still Google. Even the little one Googles. You can't see it. It's too little. But it Googles. It googlies, it eyes. I did sort most of the white buttons into this jar. We don't have much room, but I have a plan for the future because glass jars are not that hard to find, frankly. So in the future, my plan is either find another glass jar and then sort these out, and then have 2 jars of white buttons. Or theoretically, if I like for some reason cannot find another glass jar, unlikely but possible, I will take these out of their glass jar and then sort them out and then put them into the fastener bag, which honestly, I probably need to organize the fastener station at this point because it's grown. It's grown a lot. This is like ideas for future projects that I probably won't get to because like at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, but like the rickrack and ribbon situation, whew. So this has been a problem for a long time because I love ribbon and I love rickrack because I've always been a 70-year-old woman at heart. And I think it's kind of fun. I just like it. I make dolls or like I make doll dresses and I use them because especially rickrack looks a little corny on an adult human. It does. I'm so sorry. It really does. Looks costumey. But rickrack on a doll looks charming as hell. So this is why, like, and over the years, now I just have, like, a massive amount of rickrack and ribbon, and then my grandmother gave me more. I'm so happy. I gotta figure out what to do before the ribbon unrolls itself and like destroys my entire craft room, which is becoming imminent. But in the meantime, the buttons have been figured out. God, the Rick Rack attack, it attacked my brain, if not my living situation. So we got this jar. This jar is quite large. Why am I so far away from you? I think it's because I don't like the concept of having like the TikTok filming style where the head is huge. Weirds me out. I don't like my head being big. Like, I can see how big my head is right now. It's freaking me out a bit. But I'm not the star of the show. We all know this. I'm just going to scoot up really close. Okay. These are the star of the show. Oh my God. Glaring. This is my jar of metal buttons. Oh, they're beautiful. I love these. I really think what's going to happen is that I'm going to I love touching the metal buttons. Call me crazy, but they're also textured. It's cool metal. A lot of these are really old. A lot of, as you would expect for metal buttons, we've got a lot of navy buttons for some reason, like the navy crest. I'm not super sure what's going on with that, or if is there somebody I can give those? And we have some that I might fish out of here and give to a friend that is of a 3-mast ship, which it's so interesting. It doesn't have a shield or insignia. A lot of these do. A lot of these have like shields, thistles, insignias, crests. But the 3-mast ship is just kind of floating on its own on a metal button, which is so interesting to me. I love it. I think it's cool. Oh, I can show you the googly eyes better. Look at these guys. That one was looking at me. Ooh, okay, sorry. I always wanted to make a googly shirt. I never did, but I really want to. This is the, oh my God, the lid isn't on. That was almost a problem. Wow, you can really tell when we're up close if I'm like looking at my face because it freaks me out. Anyway, the point is, this is a bottle of beads and tiny buttons. And the reason why they are in here is because those things are really, really hard to sort. But when I need beads, most of the time I really do want like a wild assortment of it. So that's what I'm going for. We got seed beads, we got pony beads, all sorts, teeny tiny buttons. One of the buttons is like so small that I'm afraid if I thread it, it might snap. So that one probably is never gonna use because I'm scared. The rhinestones remained in their rhinestone prison. It's for the best. These are, they're plastic, all of this. Why am I not holding it up? This entire door, these are plastic. None of these are pearl, and none of these are gold. None of this is pearl or good. But they are all kind of ornamental and framed. I really like these. The swirly, it reminds me of like a sea star or rope. I think it is supposed to be rope, but I don't know. I think it's neato. Over here, these are actually pearl. They're the nicest pearl ones. So I kept them to the side because I like them. And then we have, this is the collection of pearl. Oh, you can't tell. That's going to be a problem is because A, the lighting is atrocious, I'm aware, but also like the camera's not great and you can't tell. And I don't want to go to the efforts. What if I get closer? What if I just put it in the camera? Yeah, those are pearl. They're shaped like flowers. I think they're really cute, but I kept them together because I'm not going to separate them. There's like 7 of them, so. We got some glass beads in here, but they are different from the other glass beads. These are colorful beads that have like a ring of foil, a little bit of gilding to them. I don't believe it's real gild though. All right, here's the glass beads. Oh, I love this. This is gonna be my favorite drawer. Look at them. The camera quality is garbage, so you can't use. Just look with the eyes of your heart, okay? But like, oh, it's so pretty. You can't tell. You really cannot see this. fine. What if I do is this why they did this? Yeah, you can kind of see it better. But yeah, it's faceted. It's really pretty. We've got a lot of glass beads that are, most of them are like iridescent. I say beads. These are buttons. That is also the big difference, is that the beads only have one hole through the middle. Buttons will have either this it'll either have the stands with the hole through it, so the fabric, so it'll lay flat on the fabric, or it'll have 2 to 3 to 4 holes. I say 3 now because I did find a button with 3 holes. It's kind of cute. It's triangle, so it makes sense. And that's like, it's just like the buttons that I like. This is a tiny pearl heart. Pretty. We got more flower shapes. I love it. Oh, here it is. No, it's not. This is not. This is the other triangle. These are, oh, these have like gems in them. We have several like that. I think they're so cool. You'll hear me say that a lot because I just think buttons are cool. This is shaped like a rose. I have pink ones, white ones, a silver one. I have no idea where they came from because very few of them match. So like my first thought was, oh, it came on a cardigan. I don't think that's true. Speaking of came on a cardigan, they came on a cardigan I got when I was like 11. It was baby pink. I didn't wear it as often as I probably should have, but when I did wear it, it was for these babies. So anyway, I stole them all. The cardigan when I stopped wearing it. Because when I was 13, I was too cool for it. I was not. I was awful. Oh, probably the worst teenager. Let's see. We've got in this next drawer, we've got some colors. Oh, I'm scared. These are all like they're clear or patterned. So they're up here. We have, get back in place. We have, oh my God. Fools. Okay, we have our gold and yellow here. And then down here is green, aquamarine. In terms of really cool ones here, I don't actually see any that I'm like obsessed with. We have maple leaf or some kind of leaf. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be maple leaf, but I don't know. Ooh, okay, so this is the black and navy. It's quite a few of them because that's what life happens. I like this guy. He's by himself. I don't know why, but he's making a statement. A lot of the navy ones are this beautiful, like, beautiful, vivid navy is the best I can explain it. Like when it catches the light, it glows. And I love those. And I am going to try to find a way to let them see the light in the prettiest possible way. I didn't even get to all the jars. I left out this jar. And this is the right time to tell it anyway. But this bad boy is horn, bone, brown, like that kind of button. None of the wood ones. I kept the wood out, but we have like a lot of the brown scaled natural color kind of things are in here. I said bone, I mean bone imitation. I only found one bone button and it was broken. So I wasn't really sure what to do with it because like it's kind of cool, but it's also broken. So I'm probably gonna throw it away. I didn't look super closely at the white buttons, so a couple of the white or yellow ones might actually be bone, and I just wasn't paying attention because I was tired by the end of this. It's a lot of sorting. Like I've got so many buttons, and honestly, I'm ready for more. But anyway, this is the wood. We got wood, and we also have the coolest brown buttons. Like, oh my God. Okay, it looks awful on camera, but let me just say in person, beautiful. We have a lot of wood buttons. I think this one is pretty neat. We got 2 kinds of wood. I did unwisely stick it in my mouth to see if I could feel the grain. You can. Don't do that. But I do that with the pearl buttons too, just because I want to know. Red and orange. Ooh, the red looks orange. This is like crimson. This is the crimson ones. Some of them aren't very crimson. Some are more maroon, but you know what I mean. The majority are crimson. They look orange. This is the coolest orange button to me. It is glass and it's stripy, and I think it's neat. Teal and blue. The blue also has some gray pearl in there too. We have the pink buttons. There's a lot of pink. And the purple buttons. The pink buttons. I tried to jump into the purple. So yeah, we got pink and like purple. I put all the purples together. There wasn't a ton. And then our last little button selection, the really big buttons. The big ones, like the silver dollar piece size buttons and the cloth covered buttons, because both of these, yeah, those are going to have special use cases. Like, it's going to be like, I don't know what else to use this for. Like, you know what I mean? I was going to be like, I need a big button, and then they will be like, my time has come. So, now, it's time to put everything in here, which this actually has to be, these are all safety pins, because when I first organized the buttons, I used safety pins to keep them together. Terrible idea. This is why my fingers hurt. I'm never doing that again. Awful idea. A year ago, I was not thinking it through, I think. So I actually have a place, like I have a safety pin organizer, because of course I do. So I am going to put those safety pins into their chosen places, and I'm going to fill that with buckles, the buckles I showed you earlier, assuming that I remember how to edit, and like the curtain weights. So I'm going to put buckles, curtain weights, probably like this baggy until I fix it, which I will. And then everything else is going to go in this. And then the jars are going to live on my tables where I can look at them and then touch them if I feel like it. And hopefully having it out visually will make me be like, oh my God, I have an idea. And I actually do have an idea. Oh my God. I do have an idea. What my idea is I'm going to take a lot of these flat buttons, your classic button, if you will. And the shirt that I harvested the buttons off, that I mentioned it way in the beginning, I did an idea. I didn't like the way it came out, so I ripped off the buttons, resorted them. And my new idea is going to involve just the same type of button, the ones that lay flat easily, for my own future comfort and also sanity. Because that didn't go well. And honestly, now that I think about it, like, I love the colored buttons and I might use them, but I also could just use that as like a fun way to show off how different and varied the white buttons are, because there are so many colors of white in here. We've got like everything from like whiter than a piece of paper to like almost brown, but like it's variation in natural colorings is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm done. I'm really happy that I got this done before my original time of wanting it to be done by 5. So got it done. I'm gonna clean up everything, clean up my pile of trash, put all of these back in my room now that they're sorted out and can no longer be devastated by cats. Yay! I would love to say see you next week, but that's high hopes, ain't it? But I will see you around sometime. And yeah, I have a couple ideas for my next video. Mostly, like I said at the very beginning, and will continue to repeat, this is a great excuse to me to get done with tasks I wanted to get done, or projects I want to get done. Very excited because the next project is actually a Christmas gift. And yeah, it's got a funny story. I love it. I'm not besmirching the gift, but it is kind of funny. All right, see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, I like how I say that, like I know you, which honestly I probably do, because Nobody sees this.